Hey guys, big welcome back, and this is an exciting video for me because we just got back from vacation and this is something I wanted to check out from the day I got to my resort until I finally made it happen. So let me tell you a little story, so buckle up, grab your popcorn and beer, and listen to what I got to say. Or mute me. If you don't want to listen, you don't have to. Anyway, we were staying at the El Faro Resort, which is roughly in a straight line, say 5 kilometers or so, 5.5 kilometers from this place. And all you could really see from the beach at our hotel was that there was a big building, which could have been a big mansion or restaurant or hotel. You can't really tell. You can just see that there's something big there. Here's a picture. So you can get the idea, but this is zoomed in with like my Samsung S22 Ultra like 80 times. But anyway, so I wanted to check this building out. So my son and I, the one morning, set out to try to go there, and we made it about a third of the way, and ultimately it was just way too windy. I wanted to fly around it with my drone and then walk around with my 360 camera. But it was just too windy. I knew I couldn't get the drone there because it was too windy. So we gave up and turned back. Then like 2 days later, I was like, fuck it, I want to do it and I'm going to try again. So we walked down the beach. This time we went further, which it's quite the hike, obviously, and it's like through some pretty harsh terrain and shit like that. And it's like all like lava rock or whatever. And anyway, so we get about maybe almost halfway, maybe a third of the way there. And then we realize that we're still so far away. I decided to send my drone up and try to fly to it. Well, with the wind and everything like that, I couldn't get close enough to it. So I was like, fuck, and, defeated again. So we walked back. And then on my second last day there, I was determined I was going to make this happen. So we get up at like 6:30 in the morning and start the hike. Took about an hour and a half to get there. You got to go over like basically cliffs and shit like that. There is another way following a road, but that makes it like a 8-kilometer journey following down like these highways and shit, which I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. But anyway, so we go all this way. You finally get to like a road that leads up to the resort, and then boom, we're greeted by this guy. And this fellow here is a security guard with a shotgun over his shoulder that came flying out to tell us that it's private property, we couldn't go up there. So unfortunately we couldn't get in on foot because, well, we didn't want to get shot. But he did understand enough that I wanted to fly the drone, which he agreed to let me fly the drone. He actually seemed quite interested in it. He stood behind watching the screen the whole time. And yeah, I don't know, he just kept telling me it's private, but he was okay with the drone. I couldn't, unfortunately, I didn't have any data on my phone, so I wasn't able to communicate very well with him as to what the deal is with the resort, why it's all fucked up. I did do a little research online, and from my understanding, it's something to do with the owner had some kind of fraud or something. And I think like it was seized by the bank or the government or something like that. And then several other fraudulent people had tried to go ahead and like sell it, claiming it was theirs, like illegitimate buyers or sellers, sorry. And so I don't know for sure that that's the story. Excuse the drone camera going all crazy. This is a DJI Mini 2, and it was stupid windy. It's always windy there. The wind never let up. But anyway, the resort is pretty massive, and it looks like it's pretty fancy. You're going to get to see the cliffs after, to see kind of how it sits up there. I'm looking down here at these, and I didn't really know what to make of them. Like if these were like huts that got blown away in like a hurricane, or why there's like framing for stuff there. And unfortunately, I had to keep the drone pretty high up just because of like the layout of the land. We are way at the very top left of your screen, kind of where that little beach is. That's where we're standing over there. So there's not really any line of sight when I drop down because of the height of the drone. And I always get an alert when I'm recording, so sorry about that. But yeah, you can see the cliff there with the waves just pounding on it. It's just a beautiful sight. And it was such a privilege to fly there. Hopefully this dude doesn't like get in shit one day for letting me fly there and stuff. But yeah, anyway, just like it was, yeah, such a privilege to fly there. I really wish I could have got in there and recorded with the camera and got some like walking around video. I gladly would have paid $100 US if they would have let me in there. But unfortunately, like there was no way to communicate with the guy, and with no cell phone coverage so that I could go on like Google Translate or anything like that. I'm going to bet he probably would not have allowed me to do that, even if I had paid him. I don't even know. Honestly, yeah, like realistically, if he had said, oh, give me $200 and you can go in, I probably would have paid it. Because to me, like this would have just been such an amazing place to explore. I could have spent the entire day exploring this place. I will say that at the top of the screen, there's some wooden structures there that look to me like they might be newer framing. So I'm wondering if this place is being rebuilt. But I'm not really sure. You guys, if you're able to zoom in on your phone or whatever you're watching this on, maybe you can see. Or I could always do another version, kind of like zooming in on stuff. If people have that kind of interest that you want to see, by all means, just leave it in the comments. Anyway, so when we leave here, we decide, well, not we, my son bitched out, and he didn't want to go back through like the jungle and that hard way there. So he wanted to take the road. So we go and we walk along the roads, like through this little town, Macao or something like that. And anyway, we got to end up walking down a highway. So when we turn off this road onto like this highway, some dude like a Lexus goes by and he honks and he waves his finger saying like, no, no, but he keeps going. So we're walking for a few minutes. All of a sudden, like one of the Jungle Cruise adventure buses pulls up and he's like, you know, insisting that we get in. And so I'm like, I'm sorry, I have no money on me. I left my wallet in the safe. Because I was like, well, if we go off into the jungle and we get robbed for my drone and my 360 camera, you know, that sucks. But, I mean, it is what it is. But I didn't want to lose my wallet as well. So I didn't figure we needed cash. But he's like, no, 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 it's okay. Just, please, I'll take you back to your resort. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we get in and he drives us down the road. And then we get to like a gas station. And I'm like, you know what? I said, honestly, this is good. We can walk from here. We're good. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yep. So anyways, he lets us out. Then we start walking again. And then like within like another 3 minutes of walking or whatever down this other highway, which brings you to the resort, a guy in a black Suburban pulls up. And he's like blocking traffic. And he's like, please, please get in. And so, or like, I'm sorry, I don't have any money. And he's, no, please, please. And come. And so we get in and he drives us to our resort. And so we, to this day, like we're only a couple days later, we have no idea if they were getting us in because you're not allowed to walk along the side of the highway there, or if they were worried that something was going to happen to us out there. My gut instinct is just that we're not allowed to walk on the highway. But either way, these guys both gave us rides with no money. I felt bad because you know what I mean? I would have gave them money. We probably would have taken a cab back had I brought my wallet. But anyway, I just wanted to share that little story with you guys. It was a great adventure. There's more to it. We met this big nasty crab. But look at the views here of this place with the cliffs and the resort. And man, am I ever glad I got out there to experience this. I wish I could have got into that resort, though. So I'm going to tell you that if one of you bastards out there somehow finds a way in there, please send me the link to the video. I'd really like to see the inside of the resort. Or if anyone knows any backstory to the resort, I'm going to put the information for the resort in the description, which I don't normally do on abandoned places to kind of keep it a secret, but whatever. If you're willing to go there with knowing that there's shotgun dudes there, then all the power to you. And please try to get me any info or footage you can, because I'd love to see it myself. And yeah, anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching and listening to my rambling and bullshit. And yeah, I've got several more videos coming, so if you're interested, be sure to subscribe and check out what I've got. And yeah, we will see you guys again in the near future. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.